Hi, welcome to another episode of Stage Diving with Scotty, and my guest is Korgan from the band Midsummer. How you doing, Morgan? Korgan, not Morgan.
Korgan.
Already screwed it up.
No, everyone screws it up. That's probably one of the better ones.
Really?
It's like, I don't even know what people say. They have such a hard time with it, but it seems like such an obvious name. But
Is that just a particular part of like your background or whatnot, or?
I was named after Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins.
Just with a K?
Familiar?
Yeah.
His is with a C, but yeah, with a K for mine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm guessing your parents were huge Smashing Pumpkins fans?
Yeah, definitely. Just big 90s music fans in general. Yeah, I really like I grew up on the grunge music, all the 90s stuff. And then listening to some of these bands like Citizen, Balance and Composure, Basement, that kind of have that like 90s influence too. So that's kind of like the sounds that I've been pulling from the most.
Yeah.
A lot of that like heavy bass tone and that constant like kick drum sound kind of drives all the songs. Yeah. I feel like in like the mid or like the early 2010s, there was sort of a resurgence of this sound with bands that I mentioned, like Citizen, Basement, Turnover. Like they were kind of bringing that sound back, but within the recent years, I haven't seen as much of it. So we're kind of trying to keep it alive, I guess.
Well, I haven't even heard of those bands, so now I'm like, okay, I gotta write those down, so because I want to check them out.
Definitely. Yeah, they kind of, at least their earlier stuff has kind of that 90s, just that thick bass tone and stuff.
Yeah, I just love that drive where it doesn't have to be even when you're singing, it fits well with your drive, and you don't have to scream. I know you do some screaming, but I like it. But you do it for emphasis. You don't do it as in that's your style. You do it to emphasize what you're singing. But I love that, just that kind of like, again, like Hum does that great too, like Matt from Hum, where he just carries on a great, like almost like a monotone voice under like some thick guitars and melodic guitars. I mean, you guys formed in 2019, right?
Yep.
Dear Lord, so and you guys have you have one full EP and then a couple of singles?
We released an EP as soon as we formed. It's kind of more like a demo, I guess, to me. And then we did 2 singles, and then we did this current EP as well.
How did this form? Like, did you guys just like kind of like, hey, let's get together and just do something, or were you guys friends? Like, how did it all begin for you?
It was basically just me writing a bunch of demos on my own, and I just really wanted to perform live again because I hadn't been in a band in several years. So I put out like an ad on Twitter and Facebook, just looking for like local musicians who wanted to do stuff. And that's kind of how I met our drummer and our previous guitar player. And then he knew somebody to play bass. And that's just kind of how it started.
Because you guys were a 4-piece, now you're a 3-piece?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we get back to like playing shows and touring and stuff, we're looking for another guitarist.
And are you guys planning on doing practicing to get ready for shows, or you just kind of just focus on recording still?
Still kind of focused, just on the recording. We want to do another EP actually, maybe beginning of next year or late this year, just depending on how it works out. So putting all of our focus into that right now. And then maybe, next in 2022 or something, we can hit some shows and tour on it.
Now, have you guys actually played any shows before the whole pandemic thing started, or was it just recordings?
2019, we spent like the whole year playing shows.
Oh, cool.
And then we were playing shows right up until the pandemic hit, and that's when we had to cancel. We had like a whole Midwest tour planned, and we had to cancel everything.
Oh man, that would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any?
It was a bummer.
Did you already have any other bands that you were planning on touring with for that particular tour, or was it just kind of up in the air?
There was a couple other bands, I think from Indiana or Ohio or something, that we were gonna jump on their tour basically.
Oh, cool. Were they kind of similar style, or just kind of
just not different? Really. They were more like hard rock, radio kind of rock, I guess, whatever that is. So it was kind of a weird combo, but we knew the person that was booking the tour, so she got us on.
Do you miss playing live?
Definitely, yeah. We're all kind of just going crazy and depressed, and that's kind of like our outlet for all of our like that angst and just all of the emotions. You can get that out on stage, and not being able to do that sucks.
Oh yeah. It's so funny because I used to be in a lot more bands where we were always playing, and then not a lot of recording. And now since for years now, I've been up here in Sacramento, and I've been recording and less live play, obviously. I mean, the only time I did anything was like, help out the youth group for the church or something. I'll play some songs there. But as far as playing live, like songs like I used to, I miss that. Now that I like see more bands now, when I talk to more bands now, like I have that urge now. I want to play live again. I'm kind of like, okay, I'm done. I'm so done recording right now because it's taken us over a year and a half to record our album, my band. And I'm just so like, I want to go play now. I mean, even though we're a 2-piece band, but it's just that I'm like you. I just miss that drive. I miss getting into the songs.
Yeah.
I miss just that intense feeling, just so organic, and it's just so like just a visceral feeling, like not visceral, but like surreal feeling. But I'm with you, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's just fun to go hang out with your friends and just have a good time, play music. Like that's kind of why we do it.
Yeah. And yeah, just meeting other bands. I miss that too. I met a lot of great people in some of these other bands that we used to play with. And unfortunately, I don't keep contact with much of them now, but that was another part of it too. Yeah, the camaraderie with all of the other bands and different styles, and then supporting them. But now it's all kind of digital. I mean, now we're all kind of like, the socials.
Yeah. It's just weird. Likes and shares and shit.
Yeah, that's all right. It's just not the same, but I mean, it works. Yeah. But
it was nice that there was something to fall back on with like the pandemic. Like you still had some way of interacting and promoting your music. Yeah. I mean, like, 20 years ago, if this had happened, you would have been just screwed.
I was telling my last guest, Derek Morris, it's so weird to see the change of singles versus albums, because not a lot of people are into albums anymore. Now it's about single, maybe a collective, and then single. So, well, that's when I went on your guys' stuff on Spotify. I saw that you had a bunch of singles, and then you had just a 5-song EP recently. So. But I can't seem to get myself straight. Get out of my head. Get out of my head.
Yeah, we've been struggling with that concept because I think we all listen to full-length albums, and we would love to make that kind of, content, but I think people just don't consume their music like that anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can put all this effort and time into this, this full-length album, and people are only going to listen to a couple of the songs. It's like, might as well just make 10 singles over the year or something.
Yeah.
It's not everybody in the band always agrees on that, but it just seems like it's the way things are going.
Aaron and I, the other gentleman, we're struggling with, like, what do we do with these 11 songs? Do we split it up into 2 EPs? Do we make it one full length? But like you said, it's just hard because people are just so like, I want to hear this song, be done with it, I'm on to the next thing. And again, that's why
it's all about playlists.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what people like. They like the single songs.
Because I mean, you could put all this effort into how the track, or excuse me, the album is like tracked out. The flow. So you have all the songs, and they split it all up and put it on their own playlist. It's like, what's the point? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That would make that does kind of take away from the impact of what you were trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
The feel of the album, and then it all is a single. But,
yep.
Now I wanted to ask you, how long did it actually take for you guys to record that EP?
It was kind of split up. We didn't do it all at once, so I think it took a couple of months. But as far as time spent actually tracking, I mean, it was probably only like a week or something, a week or two. Because I had been writing these songs slowly over the pandemic. And so I'd already had them like demoed out, kind of figured out how everything was going to sound. So the actual, once we tracked it, it didn't take very long.
Oh, so you're the main one that kind of writes the tunes and the lyrics and whatnot?
Yep, I do all the writing pretty much by myself.
So all the guys are just kind of like, okay, we're just gonna kick back and let Korgan do all the work.
Pretty much. Which, yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but that's just kind of how it's always been. Like I said, I started the band by myself, like just with some demos that I had written on my own. So I think that's just always been the dynamic. Like Korgan comes with some songs, and then we just have to learn them and play them live.
Wow, man, this was that easy. Some people are just like, you know, oh God, I gotta learn all these songs. I gotta learn all these songs, and then, you know, and or come up with all this stuff. And then you got someone who's just kind of like you, or just kind of laid back. And you got it set, and they just come in and go, okay, well, all right, just show me the chords, and I'll do my thing, and we're done. It just seems too easy, Korgan.
Well,
sorry,
I have to try to write stuff that's easy enough for everybody to play too. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Try to teach our drummer the drum parts and stuff. We don't play that complicated music, but
what?
Yeah, I do teach. I play the drums, so I have to teach him all the parts and stuff.
So okay, so let me ask you then: do you have your own like recording equipment and stuff, and you just kind of like record demos at your place and then send them to the guys, or? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have right here a little studio.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I got all that in the back there, but so yeah, I'll record demos and then I just email them to the rest of the band, and they either say, oh, I love it or hate it or whatever, and then we go from there. And then the same thing with recording the actual final tracks. Recorded it all here, and then we just sent it to someone to mix it.
Oh, okay, so you don't do any of the mixing?
No, I'm not that great at mixing, and I also find it really hard to mix my own music for some reason. Like, I'm just too close to it. Like, for mixing other people's stuff, I find it easier, but with my own stuff, it's kind of tricky.
Tricky because you're just a little more, you know what you want, but yet you're not sure like how to form it, I guess.
Yeah, and I think I'm just more like critical of my own voice or my own playing and stuff like that. So I end up like burying my vocals in the mix because I don't want to hear myself or something.
Okay, good. I'm finding out there's more people like that, like me, where I'm just like, hey, can you turn the music up and me down?
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. So I have to let somebody else do it and just be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, let them deal with my horrible voice.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was that part of how you were brought up, was just constant music in your house, or was it something you kind of ran into like later on, like junior high and high school, or was it always something that was played in the house and all different kinds of stuff? How was it for you?
A little bit of both, I would say. I think when I was really young, there was constant music. My dad was really into just going to concerts, and he had just a huge collection of CDs and tapes and all that kind of stuff back then. So I was getting a lot of that. But as I got a little bit older, he got like really religious and kind of ditched all the music that he used to listen to and just kind of started listening to like Christian rock stuff. So I guess some of the music stopped at that point. But he also played guitar. So he was always playing guitar in the house. And like some of my earliest memories is him playing like Beatles songs, and I would like sing along as a little kid and stuff. So there's always been a little bit of music, but I didn't get into playing until like my teen years. My mom bought me a bass guitar at a rummage sale, and I just started teaching myself, and my dad kind of showed me a few things and never looked back.
That's awesome. Wow. Now I grew up in the church, so I know a lot about the Christian music. So did he like any, like, did he play, so he didn't play anything like, even like sort of rock remote or just any kind of Christian rock at all?
Yeah, he did some Christian rock, just nothing like secular in any way. It was all the stuff that he used to listen to, he totally got rid of and then started listening to the Christian stuff. And yeah, there was some decent Christian rock stuff, but
yeah, like Petra, anything like that kind of rock.
I don't remember. Probably not.
No, don't say Striper.
No. It was more like, I'm trying to think of some bands that he listened to back then.
Was it just
I
like
remember
rock?
More like that, like adult alternative, kind of like more chill rock, like light rock, I guess.
Like Michael W. Smith or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Andy
Or I think he was like Chris Rice.
Weirdly enough.
I can't remember any of these names right now, but there was a whole bunch of them, but they were more on the light rock kind of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got into my first main Christian album that I got was, you ever hear One Bad Pig?
Mm-hmm.
No. They were like a punk rock band, Christian punk rock band. And the guy had a heck of a scream, man. And it was it was crazy. But yeah, and then the Crucified, the Crucified, that sound familiar? No? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyways, yeah, that's the stuff that I got into when I was
gotcha.
in church and stuff. So it was a lot of the metal I got into was a lot of the Christian metal, the Crucified, Tourniquet, One Bad Pig, a lot of stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Which was pretty fun, because that kind of, like anything, like a journey, it molded me to where I got into other stuff. So
yeah, definitely.
And so then what was hitting you that spoke to you when you started to play music and stuff? What was speaking to you?
I feel like there was always like a voice in my head, just because of my name being named after, this guy from the Smashing Pumpkins, and just like I felt like I had some kind of like connection to music just because of that. And so it was probably in like middle school or early high school that I actually started to listen to Smashing Pumpkins myself. And then from there, it was like, oh, there's Nirvana, there's Pearl Jam, there's Alice in Chains, Soundgarden. And it was just like this crazy world opened up to me. And I'd just gotten a bass guitar and then an electric guitar at that same time. So it was just, everything kind of lined up perfectly at that moment. And I never set the guitar down. I was just constantly in my hands.
So you taught yourself how to play guitar as well, not just the bass?
Yeah, started with bass, and then pretty quickly after that got just a 6-string guitar as a Christmas present, and taught myself.
That's awesome. And I noticed in some of your videos that I see that orange amp in the back. Is that yours?
Yeah, it's right back here.
Thank God. Oh,
that's
man.
My baby.
I'm telling you, Hum ruined me as far as sound wise. For me, Hum, like their guitar tones and stuff, especially Downward is Heavenward, that album ruined me, man. I'm like, I kind of have an orange amp, so I got that little bitty one over there.
Hey, that works.
But yeah.
This thing is a pain to lug around shows. It weighs over 100 pounds.
Oh God, no.
We all hate it. It's like a running joke in the band. Nobody wants to help.
Well, is that funny though? How like even back when I was back in high school, the whole thing was when I was in bands, it was about getting a Marshall half stack and all this kind of stuff. But yet,
yeah,
it doesn't really matter. If you mic it, it'll sound just as good. It depends on your amp. Depends on your sound, what you're looking for.
Yeah, for sure.
So my brother actually got me that one, and it sounds fantastic. And it's like, if we were to play it now, I would just take that little thing with me and not worry about the big old one that I used to have. It's just so.
There's basically no need to have. There's no need to have a half stack. Yeah.
No. Because honestly, how often do you play out of it?
Rarely. And if it's like at a house show or something, you don't need to be that loud, really. I mean, we're barely halfway.
Yeah. Do you have a little?
If you're mic'd up, you're like.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, I say yeah. Do you have like a little spare, like a little small tube amp or whatever to take with you on that kind of stuff?
I have the 11 rack, which is like a digital amp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I play most of the time at home. And I pretty much only play here and then at shows. So it's either through the computer or hauling the beast out.
What software do you use for when you record? You use like GarageBand?
I use Logic.
Logic
Pro, yeah.
Oh, in your videos. So I noticed a common theme in your videos that I was curious about was the flowers, plants, you know, very nature oriented, and always a girl who looks like she's disturbed. So
that's pretty true. Yeah.
Is there a do you have like any kind of connection with each one, or is it just kind of each one's sort of its own little sad story? Like what's your vision behind those?
Yeah, each one is kind of its own thing. For some reason, I've always been just drawn to nature and flowers and just all that kind of stuff like that. So when we started the band, I always used like a sunflower or something like that as the logo or just as the basic imagery.
Yeah.
So when we started doing music videos, it just seemed natural just to incorporate those kind of themes into it as well. Some of our videos, like the one for Honest, there isn't really a story. It's mostly just kind of aesthetic shots that look cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But then like some like Wonder kind of had a loose story, just kind of about dealing with a breakup. And then our most recent video, Get Out of My Head, I had a bit more of a storyline for that one. But so they don't always have that much meaning.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, are you the one that writes sort of the visual for the videos?
Yeah, me and our drummer, Jake, because he has some film. He's a photographer as well, and he has some film experience, and he actually shot our first video for Honest himself. So me and him kind of work together, and he kind of has more of that kind of eye for things. He's like, all right, I know what scenes I want to do and stuff like that. I just kind of have like a basic idea.
Oh, cool. And you guys work pretty well with that. I mean, look, all three, at least the ones that three, I saw three, look pretty awesome. I like the way they look. In fact, I think it was Too Long, the video for Too Long. You know what it reminded me of? I don't know if you've heard this, but to me, as far as I have a horrible memory, but it reminded me of the sort of tone of it and the certain shots reminded me of Heart-Shaped Box, the video for that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't think of that, honestly, but I can see that.
Okay, yeah, because it to me, it's some of the little soft, sort of the soft photography with a sort of red light behind, and then her holding the heart. I just thought it was all kind of like very like not similar like the video, but just reminded me of that kind of feel for Heart-Shaped Box. And I just thought maybe like, oh, I wonder if that was part of your vision.
The basic vision for that one was just, I feel like the song itself, like musically sounds kind of happy and poppy. It's just the chord progression, but the lyrics are emotional and kind of dark.
Yeah.
So I wanted the video to kind of appear visually like bright and kind of happy looking, but then have this dark content. Yeah. So you have that juxtaposition between the two. That was the basic idea.
Will this feeling ever go away? I'll keep waiting for the day. I thought I saw you through, but there was always something in the way, the things you'll never say.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea behind the song and the video. Just that, like, if you're not paying attention, like just listening to the song, you might not realize it has these kind of a more emotional, darker undertones to it.
You did it well, because I mean, it had that feel, and it was a great. Again, I feel like honestly, the three songs I really enjoyed the way you guys did them, and I like the look of them, and I like the way just everything was shot too. I think I can't remember which one was actually in like forest.
That would be, I think, our most recent one.
I think so.
Came out a few days ago.
Yeah.
Get Out of My Head.
Okay. Yes, I really like. Was that in Wisconsin?
Yes.
Okay.
Just pretty close to where we all live. So.
Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful area. I just love Florida.
Yeah.
So that was really.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of really cool trails right in the city that we all live. So. Lots of opportunities to take cool videos, cool pictures, band photos and stuff.
When you had that moment of making the video and then watching it back, how was that for you? What was that feeling like for you?
For the first one that we did, it was like relief because it's not that I didn't trust, like our drummer mostly filmed that himself. Not that I didn't trust him. It was just like, it's so easy to make a bad video that looks kind of cheesy and like looks like you did it yourself. Like I wanted a professional looking video.
Yeah.
And so when we finally saw the finished product, it was like, oh, okay, it looks good. It, you know, like the video matches what I saw in my head before. So.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's really important. That's an interesting juggling game.
Yeah, definitely.
But
like,
I think, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like with the writing the music too. It's like sometimes you can have this idea and it just isn't translating to like I'm trying to record a demo for it and put drums and it's not working.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with video. It's like I can see it so clearly in my head, but sometimes the shots just don't look the same way that you saw them. But with this, it was like spot on, exactly what I wanted.
Wow, that seems like a rare thing now, or just in a creative sense, like it seems rare to kind of
yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, at least yours seem like also very and I mean this complimentary, is very simplistic, which is nice. Not a lot of switching around, not a lot of huge, you know, dynamics of story as far as like huge visuals to do this and add that and do this kind of thing. It was just very subtle music video, which is really nice to see because no one really does that anymore. Everybody has to have a viral video. You know, you got to have blood coming out of this, and I don't know. It's just always so overdone. With sometimes simplicity is the best. So I admire that.
Yeah, we focus on just getting really good band shots, and then just having some kind of like aesthetic B-roll, not overdoing it.
Yeah, that's great, man. It worked.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do you guys plan to make more per single, or just kind of waiting it out and see what happens?
I think we're probably done for this EP, but like I said, a bunch of demos already, so we want to do another EP at some point in the next year. So we'll definitely do a couple more videos when that happens.
The other guys, you know how it is, like, do they have different tastes than you do, or like, you know, one's into huge like house and the other one's into like country, and you guys somehow still like mesh together really well, or is it all pretty similar?
There's commonalities at least with like the alternative rock and grunge and stuff like that. But we all kind of have our own little interests. Our drummer and our bass player, they're both really into like hardcore metal. Our drummer is really into death metal. He was actually a metal vocalist for years before joining the band as our drummer. So he's really into all that stuff. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
What's probably one of your favorite bands of all time? And then what are some bands you're listening to now that have really impressed you?
Good question. Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
All-time favorite, probably. Melancholy Infinite Sadness is like, to me, the perfect record. I've probably listened to that like 1,000 times, and it's 28 songs long. So that's just all-time favorite. What I listen to now, like I said, bands like Citizen, Movements, Turnover, Balance and Composure.
Balance Composure.
I like, just that whole little like scene of alternative rock stuff that happened a few years ago. That's kind of the biggest influence on how I write.
What about, so would you say that musically, or would you say that for lyrically, or both?
Probably both.
Yeah. Definitely
musically. But yeah, I love those emotional lyrics they're just kind of dark, and kind of reminds me of grunge in that way. The more emotional lyrical content. So definitely, influence. Wow.
That's cool, man. I want to thank you though, honestly, since I can't think of the doggone question, but I want to honestly thank you for jumping on, because I didn't think, anything was going to happen. And just because of, everything last minute, usually people can't, spare their time and whatnot. So I appreciate taking the time to come on with me and chat. So I know this was all very spontaneous.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Luckily, I have a very boring life, so.
Do you guys plan on doing, because I noticed a huge trend, because being in a band and trying to adjust to how things are nowadays, do you see yourselves collaborating with someone else vocally, or anything like that? Have you been offered? Have you sought anybody?
We had a vocal feature on our song I Don't Know What to Say on the CP with just a local, they're from Milwaukee, but a hardcore band. He did the screaming vocals. I don't know if you listen to that track, but
yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's right. Was that on was
yeah.
that Head?
I Don't Know What to Say, it was called.
Oh, I don't know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was a cool experience. And yeah. I would definitely do it again too. It was cool to just have somebody else's like style, I guess, incorporated into our own. It was something that I wouldn't have been able to do that way. I think it brought, a different element to the song.
Well, even your yell is, you got a pretty decent yell, man. I actually really dug what you're yelling too. I was like, I like this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because
it's not something that comes natural.
Especially when you're angry and pissed off.
Yeah. But I think I've done some damage to my throat, so I try not to use it too often.
Well, if you're the guys nowadays that I always, because I'm into a lot of the metal as well, and these guys train like you wouldn't believe to get their screams the way they do, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I mean, even singing wise, like I still don't know what I'm doing, and I see and I watch videos.
Yeah.
I still don't know if I'm doing this right. So to scream the whole thing where, you're going to screw up your vocals real bad if you don't know what you're doing. But
I don't know what I'm doing. So like any of the screaming stuff, it's basically just me yelling.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not using any kind of technique or anything. It's just
all
anger, depression, whatever.
We did a slow song for this record, and it kind of needed it, something a little kind of give off the balance, or give balance.
Yeah.
And one of the guys I talked to from a band called Empty Atlas, his name's Micah, and he got to sing on the slow song. And it was such a weird feeling because Aaron and I switch vocals on a lot of these songs, but to have someone with a completely different sound and tone come in and sing like this, very heartfelt song, it was such a weird feeling to have someone like be involved, like almost like invading your space in a way, but yet but they do it like he did it, and it just fit perfectly. And it was like, I really like this. Like you, I would be like, I would totally do this again with somebody. This is really cool.
Did you not like the way that it felt, that they were like taking over your spot, or like?
No, I think, you know what, dude, it was that thing where, like you, I'm very insecure about my voice, and this song meant a lot to me. It's a very personal song. And so then when it was kind of brought up, I was just like, kind of like you were just like, where the mixing thing, we're just like, okay, just do it. It's out of my hands. You mix it. It was the same thing when I gave it to this guy, Micah, and he's a really great guy. But I gave it to him and just said, hey man, do what you can. I think you have a great voice and be perfect for this part. And he sang it, gave it to me like 2 days later or whatever it was. And I was just like, oh, okay, that works. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought I would be not disappointed, but just thought I'd be a little like, I don't know, just underwhelmed maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not underwhelmed, but I guess unsure. I guess I should say. I'm very unsure of how it was going to sound. If it would fit.
With Nick, who did the feature on this song, everything was just perfectly smooth. Like he's in another band, so I already know what his voice sounds like, and it was perfect.
And he seemed like just kind of went with it too. It was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Just completely cool with it.
Yeah, he was totally on board and super stoked. Like he charged just like half of what he normally charges for a feature, just because he liked the song so much. So that was pretty cool.
That's even better. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's got to feel good.
Yeah, for sure. So I was kind of like, I don't know if this song's any good, but hearing that definitely boosted my confidence a little bit.
Okay, cool, man. Well, do you guys have anything coming out anytime soon, or any little things to push other than the video just came out, right?
Yeah, video just came out, and that's on our website, midsummerband.com. And then we also have a new like summer, spring merch line out, also on our website.
Perfect. I'll definitely be throwing that up for you guys too as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, man, Korgan, thank you very much for your time, dude. And again, I know this was spontaneous, so I thank you for jumping on and jumping right into the deep end, because because it's always
spontaneous
with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So it was fun.